Okay, hi everyone. I'm Hamish. Start like this. I'm going to try and speak very slowly today. Sorry I can't speak in Bahasa, but I'll do it. This is my email address. So if anyone has any questions, ask me now. But if you want to email me, it's easier to write it down or anything. Just email me. Cool. Okay, so the presentation today is about starting and running a business. So the first thing is I will introduce myself, my background, why I'm here, and then we're going to talk about these things, which I'll come on to in a second. So, Hamish, I'm from England, from London. I'm here volunteering with Brad at Better Together Indonesia, the charity. My background is I used to run a business in London. So I had a business and we were a business where we worked with academics, so professors, and we were a consulting company where people could work with our academics. So I had a business. So I have experience of starting and running a business. It's not easy, but it's interesting and it's amazing. And this is hopefully going to inspire someone to, start a business. So we're going to talk about these things today, which maybe you can't see that now, but so organizations, businesses or non-profits, doing research, business plan, getting funding, how do you pay for the business, marketing and sales, risks and challenges. And then I was going to give homework, but Brad said you can't give homework. So there's no homework. Yeah, really good. So I'm going to use a case study today. So I'm going to use an example of an organization, an international volunteer program. Okay, so this would be an organization that brings international students to Lombok, and they would volunteer for 2 weeks, and these students would pay, to volunteer. They would pay for accommodation and travel, and then they would volunteer and do other activities. So I'm going to use this as an example today that we can be thinking about. So the first thing you need to think about is there are different kinds of organizations. So you can be a business, non-profit. Those are the two options in Indonesia. So, and I'll come to this in a second. A business or non-profit. So if you're a business, you make money. And the focus of your business, focus of you is to make money and to make profit. But if you're a non-profit, your focus is on an impact. So it could be on the environment, it could be on education. That's your focus. And there are different reasons why you would want to be a business or a non-profit. So for example, if you're a business, you can make more money. You can pay yourself more, you can pay your employees more. There are reasons like this. If you're a non-profit, there are reasons like low tax. So you can pay low tax. You can pay people differently. There are different reasons why you'd want to be a non-profit. And then, just so you know, in other countries there are things called a social enterprise, which is in the middle. It's like a business, but it has an impact focus. So maybe it's a business that helps the environment or something. Okay, so the first thing to do is do your research. So when you have an idea, you don't want to just go for it and take money and just start a business. You want to just do some research, before you start. So the main areas to research are the industry, customer, and competition. And yeah, research methods are like online. So, you can look up, things about this industry. You can do interviews, and you can interview other people from the industry. You can interview your customer, and a prototype. So a prototype is like a small version of your product. So if I wanted to have a company building pens, I would just build one pen and then say, is this pen good? Just do one and test it and improve. So it's important to do your research and your homework. So in my example of the International Volunteer Program, in this example, we would want to do research about the industry. So are there other companies, that are doing this? And there are companies in different countries that bring students and give them volunteering. Customer, so the customer is international students. So maybe, you'd want to interview an international student and ask them questions like, if I started this business, would you be a customer? How much would you pay? All of these kind of questions. So you really understand the business and your customers. So, business plan. So, once you've done your research, you want to write this down. And this is really important. This is important for you, so that you have, understand your business. And it's also important for investors, so you want to understand all of these things I'll talk about now, but also if there's an investor or a business partner, you want to explain to them everything, which is very important. So maybe this is too small, but I'll go through it quickly. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it okay? So, summary of your business idea. So you want to be able to explain it really simply, even if it's complicated. So one sentence of your business idea. Write down your market research, which is you've already done. A description of your product. So what is your product? Is it a pen? Is it something else? Your marketing and sales strategy. So this is very important. How you'll sell, where you'll sell. This is very important. Operations and management. So who's the boss? Who's in charge of the money? Who's all of this kind of thing is very important before you start. And then a financial plan is also very important, which I won't get into today, but if you have any questions, I can. And then at the end, you need to understand if you're taking funding, what funding you need. So maybe this funding is from an investor or from the government or whatever. You need to write this and what you need. So a business plan, very important. So the next thing is, once you have all of this and you have the idea, you have your plan, you're ready, but you have no money. So you need to think about, funding options. And there are different funding options. Some people use their personal savings, if they have personal savings. Otherwise, you can go to the bank and take a loan or a loan from the government. You can get investors, and you can do crowdfunding, which is taking investment from a lot of people. So maybe it would be like a whole village will give a small amount, like a lot of people. That's that. So in my example from the International Volunteer Program, in this example, you could do any of these options, especially maybe taking an investor because it's attractive, and the investor is also interesting because the business has impact, a positive impact on people. So investors like that. If they're going to give their money, they want to give their money to get money back, but also give their money to improve education, or improve something. So that's that. What is the next slide? Okay. Marketing and sales. This is extremely important because it's how you make the sale. So once you have your product, that's good, but you need to make the sale, otherwise, so there's not one good strategy, but it varies on your business, on your product, it depends where you are, all these kind of things. But you need to think about your customer, you can look at your competitors and think what they do, and you can think about the industry and what works in this industry. So examples include using social media, doing physical marketing, so maybe a billboard or an advertisement somewhere, door to door, and building personal relationships. So it just depends, So for example, if you're focusing on young people, you'd want to use social media, maybe TikTok, or get your brand out like this. But if you're focusing on older people, maybe you want to go door to door, knock on doors, say hello, be kind of, respectful, and it's different. So you need to think about your business and what's right for you. And I think what's important here is to be flexible. So to try different things. So to try, we'll use TikTok, or maybe we'll use Instagram, or you could try maybe a billboard for 1 week. And if this works, you can do 1 month. But if it doesn't work, you take it down and you try something else. I think you need to be flexible. And you understand, and once you have your first customer, you ask that customer, where did you find us? Did you hear about us? Did you speak to someone? Did you come from social media? Just understanding. So, using the example of this, international volunteers program, our customer is international students. So, because they're students, maybe we'll use social media, TikTok. Maybe we would go to like hostels or hotels and see people there. Yeah. Okay. So, risks and challenges. I think it's important to say that it's hard starting a business. It's not easy. There are risks, there are challenges, competition. You could open a restaurant, it's all going really well, and then someone else opens a restaurant right next door to you. There's competition. There's financial instability. Maybe 1 year people have money, the economy is going very well, and then the next year no one has money, so no one can buy it. Things go up and down. Or the government as well. The government changes, and suddenly you can't do this, you can do this. It's so you need to understand these risks and overcome them. So the important two things are planning. So you plan, what are these risks? So what are the risks? And if this risk happens, what do I do? So you're ready for the work, you plan for the work, is what you say. And the other one is seeking advice. So seeking advice from people you respect, like Mr. Fuad. Ask Mr. Fuad. He's someone who has built organizations. He's built charities. So you can go to him and say, "What do you think? What should I do? I'm worried about this." And he has experience. He has years. He says, "This happened to me. I did this." So don't be afraid to ask for help. It's always good to ask for help and advice. Yeah. And the main thing is, if you have an idea, start working on it. Don't be afraid and think, "I can't do it," or "It's not right for me," because you never know. All ideas has to start in here, and they start from somewhere. And then just go slowly, do your research, make a business plan, ask advice, ask Mr. Fuad, you can ask me if you want, and then you'll start working on something, and then maybe one idea won't work. You'll think, "Actually, I'm too busy," or "It doesn't work." And then maybe the next idea, you think, "Actually, this is really good, this could work, and this is the right time and everything." So just go for it, but in the right way. And yeah, that's everything for today. I hope I wasn't speaking too quickly. If you want the presentation and I can send some more information, again, please email me and say, "Hello Hamish, can you send me the presentation?" or "I have a question about this." And if you have any questions now, I'm very happy to answer them. Yeah, please.
Baik, terima kasih. Saya mau nanya, Pak, bagaimana kita memasarkan? Kita kan udah punya usaha. Nah, bagaimana kita memasarkan atau memasang iklan di setiap sosial media, akan tetapi kita belum punya uang, Pak, untuk memasarkan suatu produknya, Pak.
Thank you so much. So I have a question. So what are the considerations that investor will consider when looking at our business? As we know that we must give our value at our product. Now, what's the main value that we can show to investor?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I would like to ask a question. Good afternoon. Well, I just recently started a small business. It's a handmade product from clay, but the only media that I show my product is via social media. But I'm not that kind of social media person, and I really am struggling with how do I sell my product? What kind of content do I have to make? Do you have any
ideas?
Yes,
Yeah.
about that?
Cool.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, I'll start from number one. So maybe I've got a question about the question. So the question is, how do you market your product without any money? Well, if you don't have any money, you need to think, what you can do, without money. And actually, all of these things you can do. You can build a social media site with just you, without any money. You can do it in your bedroom at home. You can do physical marketing, so you can knock on doors and say, "Do you want this?" If there's maybe an event, a community event, and you have a physical product, you can go to the event and lay something down and have your products there. Or personal relationships, people in your community. And I think in this case it is, you start slow. So you make one sale, two sales, and then you take money from this and you can reinvest this money into then having a budget. So I think it's just about being creative with what where you go and how you do this. So the second question was considerations for investors. I think this depends on the investors because all investors are different. And I'm just speaking about investors like people, because there are other investors, maybe a company that invests or a bank that invests, but I'm just talking about people. I think different people want different things. So there could be one investor who has made lots of money and they're very rich, and they're not investing in your business to make money because they have money, but they are investing in your business because of the good things your business is doing and to help the environment because it's a good business, or to help so it's just understanding an investor and thinking, why are they investing? Are they investing only for the money? And in this case, you need to focus on the money and say, here's our business plan. We're going to make this much. We're going to grow, and you invest and you'll get more money. Or are they investing because of their heart and being positive? And in this case, you change what you say to them and what you show them. I think it depends on the investor, but you need to think about why they're investing and focus on this. And then, number 3, the social media one. I think I'm not good at social media. But it's important. It's important. So I think when I had a business, what I did was I thought, okay, I need to have social media, but I'm not going to be, posting videos and doing crazy content and doing TikToks and like different things. But I'm just going to keep it professional and very simple, show my product and just keep it good. So I think you need to do that. And then maybe similar to my answer to number 1, it's then thinking, well, if it's not going to be only on social media, where can I find customers? And this depends on your product. So if you think your customer are people in your community, it could be going and speaking to people, knocking on doors. It could be, if there's a community event, putting down a blanket and having your products, this kind of thing. So I think it's not every business has to have social media and it'd be amazing, but I think it's important to have something there, But maybe a question for you: who do you think is your customer? So where are they? Where are they? Where do I find them? Are there like events you can go to where maybe that there are going to be girls there in this age range, and you can go to that event and and show your product. Maybe you have some friends who are in that like age range, and you can ask them to help you, like this kind of thing. Understanding your customer is thinking, why are they buying the product? Is it buying for themselves? Is it buying a present for someone? Is it that you sell lots of them around this time of year, because there's something something to do with your culture, or what I mean? It's like this kind of thing you need to think, and then speak to your customer. So when someone buys one off you, maybe if someone messages you on social media, or you sell something, you can ask them, hey, I'm interested, like, why do you like this? Is it a present for someone? Where do you go on the weekend? Like really understanding your customer, and then just really try and focus on that. I think the important thing there is the impact is attractive for investors and also customers. Customers want a sustainable product, so if your product, for example, if your product was, as Brad said, made by women or disadvantaged people, and because I'm buying your product, I'm helping them, it makes me want to buy it more, so it's good business. It's good business to have positive impact. It's good for customers and it's good for investors. Especially, young people these days want to help the environment. They want to help people, and this is important for them. So that's another thing to think about with your customer. An example of what we were talking about earlier. This is international students that want to go on holiday, go to Indonesia, to go scuba diving, to go hiking, to be on holiday, and also do marine biology and volunteering to help the planet. And they pay a lot of money. And this goes back to the community and